Welcome to this second Founders Talk. I'm very happy just to have you guys. Today we're gonna have like a second founder like focus on real estate, and his company has raised more than $4 million already. I had the chance just to just know that to meet this gentleman a few years ago, and I had the chances to see him rise and go through like all the different challenges that real estate in Vietnam can actually bring. But without further ado, I'm just gonna call this gentleman. Nhat-Minh, you're here?
Yes, I'm here. Nice to be able to join with you today.
Yeah. Thanks for joining the Founders Talk. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, and I have to say, sorry, but I'm finding myself in a cafe with very heavy rain outside. So if from time to time the voice is not clear, then please excuse me.
No problem. You can't do much about the weather in Vietnam. I think it's a rainy season right now.
Exactly.
But anyway, let's go with that. So I wanted to start today with very simply, like just discuss first about like what is Rever. So if you can just like talk a little bit, because like what I did right on the slide is that you guys are a proptech company. You focus on driving property sales and rentals in Vietnam. But then if you can tell us more about this, it would be great.
Yes, of course. So we are a proptech company, and so what does it mean? It means that we try to leverage technology in order to help people sell and buy properties faster and and safer. In Vietnam, and I think that in some other countries in Southeast Asia, the real estate market has been a little bit opaque. There are a lot of asymmetries in information. Realistically, when you go online, for example, and you go to a listing website to search for a property, you will have a lot of clickbait listings where you don't have the correct images or the correct price, and you don't really know about the status of the properties you are buying or renting. So we really want to solve that problem. We want to help buyers to surf and search for properties and can believe in what they see and can quickly browse and filter and then go into the transaction in the most how to say smooth way possible. So that's what we are doing. And there's a second point is that we have seen a lot of real estate agencies focusing on generating a lot of revenues, commissions. At Rever, we believe that in this business, we need to focus first on customer satisfaction. And customer satisfaction in the real estate business will drive more sustainable revenues in the future. But without technology, we cannot deliver both customer satisfaction and a lot of revenues at large scale. If we think about doing 5,000, 10,000, or even 100,000 transactions per year without the support of technology, we cannot we cannot ensure that the experience of customers are guaranteed. So those are the two main things we are trying to do.
Sure. In terms of value proposition, can you tell us more like how you guys are basically like trying to use tech in order just to bring this customer satisfaction? Because if I understand, like you guys have online and offline sales team, you're commission based only, if I understand well. Can you tell us more about that? And for the technology?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, it's very simple. You want to sell a house, you will list with us. You basically don't need to do anything. There will be someone who will take professional pictures of your property. Sometimes we even scan it in 3D. Sometimes we do live streaming in order to present your property on our platform. We use digital marketing. We use technology in order to reach to a very large pool of potential buyers, for example. Potential buyers can also visit our websites or browse the listings on our app, and
Uh-huh.
if they find something that they are interested, they can book a house tour, and if they want to negotiate the price with the home sellers, for example, they can make an online offer. So everything is very transparent, very simple, and very quick. And of course, there is always an offline component. Uh, there we have our own agents who will give advice to both home sellers and home buyers, and help the two parties negotiate, and help the two parties to navigate through the procedure of the closing. So
Okay.
once the transaction is done, we collect a commission fee. In Vietnam, right now, the common practice on the market is that it's paid by the home seller. And we are working on two segments. We do primary distribution, which is we help developers to sell new projects to end buyers,
Uh-huh.
and secondary brokerage, which is we help individual homeowners to resell their house.
Gotcha.
So we collect commissions from the sellers. That's how we make money.
I see. So, like, and when I actually start to discover more about your business model, so you guys take a percentage, and then it starts from like 1%, and it goes all the way up to I think 1.5%. Can you tell us more
Yeah,
about, or is it like different?
yeah,
You get more, or can you tell us about that?
yes. So, as I told you earlier, we do both primary distribution, selling new projects. In Vietnam, uh, currently, developers are paying from 3% up to 4
Oh, wow.
4.5%
Okay.
for new projects. For secondary sales and resale, the common pricing is 1%. It's not uncommon to see 1.5% if, let's say that, it really depends on the kind of services you want delivered. So, for example, if we dedicate our workforce to push your listing out there and sell it very quickly, then we might propose like a VIP package, and that can be 1.5%. But the common practice on the market is 1%.
So my question about customer satisfaction for you, like what would that be? Because I'm a homeowner as well. I invest and I rent. What would be like the key focus for you just to make me happy?
Yeah. So first, we have acknowledged that we have seen that for the past 3 years, when we really tried to scale the business, from time to time we would have angry customers. So we think that we haven't done a good thing on that front. So we researched a lot, and we kind of understand what the customers want right now. Let's first talk about a seller. In Vietnam, exclusive listing is not really a thing. And why is that? Because when you want to sell your house, um, one of the first things you want to know is how much you can sell it, at what price you can sell your property. Um, so right now, common practice is to rely on the pricing from a veteran agent, someone who has been in the field for a very very long time, and you would put your faith in that person, right? But it lacks a how to say, it lacks a proper methodology, data, in order to give you a pricing in the most scientific way. When I say scientific, I don't want to go to the academic notion of it. But what I want to say is, uh, at least you want to know in the past 6 months how many houses were sold in the vicinity of your area, for example. What
Sure.
was the average price per square meter, combined with what kind of configuration of the property, etc., etc., etc. And what is the trend? Are there more and more houses being sold in that area or less? All of those, parameters will have an impact on the potential pricing, right? And if you want to sell your house in 2 weeks, it would be very different than if you are ready to sell it in 4 months. So we want to make sure that customers feel safe and feel confident that the pricing we are advising them to sell at are calculated not based on some emotion or some guesstimate, but are based on an approach with proper data. So first thing. The second thing, when you want to sell your house, usually you talk to a lot of different agents. You really don't care. Just anyone who can sell your house. First, you will give the commission to that person. Why is that? Because usually no one you don't really have the impression that people are working for you. You give me my house, and usually I will not interact with you for like 2 weeks, even 3 weeks, or even a month. And then suddenly one day, I'm gonna call you and say, "Hey, is your house still on the market? Because I have someone who want to buy your house." So for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, or for 4 weeks, you don't really know if I'm working on selling your house. You don't know if I advertise it. You don't know if I really put efforts into marketing your house, right? So you are not necessarily satisfied. At Rever, we want to interact with you. We have like a seller space. We are beta testing it, so you will know in real time how many times your listing are being seen, not only on our platform but also on other listing platform that we list it for you. You will want to know, let's say, just for example, whether people look at pictures of your bedroom more or of your bathroom more. Of course, it doesn't help sell your house right now, but at least you know that we are working hard in order to sell your house. Um, and then you want to have quick response as buyers or as sellers, right? You want to have professional service. You want to have professional agents who will work at your service, who will give you the best advice, who will act professionally. Those are all important things that contribute to your satisfaction. We want to achieve, well, we are conscious that we can only achieve this not only through technology but also through our human capital.
Okay.
What are the values we instill in our agents so that they will serve you on for your interest? Those are the things we want to do.
So it seems like in your business in real estate for Vietnam, like it's not purely technology, like you just build a very good website. I know this is really like a combination of like human capital where you need to get really good people just to serve the homeowners, so those customers. And then at the same time, technology is here to support and actually enable those homeowners to sell faster, and make sure like you're more efficient, if I understand well.
Yes, so it's not only in Vietnam but around the world, even in very advanced economies. Real estate still is a very traditional business in the sense that you can today buy a T-shirt online. You don't buy a house online. You don't just go see a listing online and then click buy, and then your money in the bank will get deducted every month. It doesn't really work like that. Even in, say, the US or Europe, you still need, there's still a very high degree of human confidence in the transaction. It's a big purchase. It's one of the most important purchase people make during their lifetime. Important decision. It requires a lot of thinking, of information searching and processing. So we are not at a stage where you can buy a house like you can buy a T-shirt, right?
Mm.
And I mean, maybe we are close to buying a car or like a used car very quickly. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I am not very familiar with the car industry. But for real estate, for example, we are quite still far from having everything digitized 100%. So human capital still play an important part. But we can also, improve that part with technology. If agents can have a clearer view of all of their sales funnel, of all of their sales opportunities, of all the interaction they have with their clients, of their clients' preferences, etc., then they can also serve their clients better. Yes, that's what I think.
So let's say for this year or for the next like couple of years, like what would be the next big thing for you just to crack in this business for Rever. Can you share with us a little bit more, like what would be the thing for you just to really make it happen?
So we are trying to serve more and more clients. Basically, in so first our strategy is we really want to be strong in some area before going into other area. I'm talking about both geography and business vertical. Basically, what I want to say is we want to be strong in one city before going to another city. We want to be strong in one district before expanding to another district. We want to be strong in the verticals we are working on before implementing other vertical. Other vertical might be mortgage brokerage, furniture brokerage, fit out brokerage, whatever it is. So we are trying to increase the number of transactions. We are trying to increase the number of house sold via Rever. And we believe that once we achieve the size of say between 3 to 5,000 units sold per year, we will have the scale where we can, break we can break even, and
Uh-huh.
we can introduce more verticals. We believe in sustainable growth. We have seen a lot of unsustainable growth, and we strongly believe that real estate is a business where we need to go for the long run. So right now, we are trying to increase, more and more transactions while still steering a company towards the break-even point. And we project that we will achieve that stage by mid 2021.
Gotcha. A subsequent question to your industry, like let's say, um, how much time does it take? Like, let's say I'm a homeowner, I'm in Vietnam, I want to sell with you guys. Like, how long on average should I expect just to sell my house? Like, is it going to take like a month, or is it going to take a 6 months, or depending on the market? Like, what can you tell them to your customers?
Yeah,
Any-
it's a complicated question in the sense that days on market depends greatly on the location of the property.
Okay.
Um, if someone tried to give an average days on market, then I think that it should be, I think, around 3 months.
Okay.
But in some location, it can go as low as 3 weeks, and some other location, it can go as long as 4 or 5 months. Another thing is it all depends on the point of view of the seller. Because if you price your property, if you have an expectation that is a little bit high, then your property will sit on the market for a long, long time. So yeah, so that's about days on market.
Okay, gotcha. So I mean, I guess pricing, location, and then like what expectations from the seller as well. Okay. Um, when I actually read like your traction, like you guys are already like generated more than 1,000 transactions to date. Maybe like
Yes,
even more now. But
yes,
and in terms of like growth, because I have you only in Ho Chi Minh City, so the market is quite big, and real estate is still gonna be like a big driver of the economy, since like everyone is investing just to build up infrastructure, right?
yeah,
So, what is your expectation, let's say, for the next few years? Like, what would be like a great
yeah.
life for Reven?
So we have been lucky because we have been able to achieve growth rate since the inception of the company of consistently at least 200% year over year in terms of revenues. Last year our revenues were around 3.5 million US dollars. This year we had planned to double our revenues, and even with the ongoing economic situation due to the pandemic, we only revise very little our targets. So we are still striving very hard to reach our targets in terms of revenues and growth. And we think that we can still maintain its growth rate for at least the next 24 months. So that's about traction. So yes, we even for last year we have sold more than 1,500 properties via our platform, and this year our target is much more than double the number of transactions. We have seen some difficulties currently because of the COVID. Naturally, because of the uncertainties in the economy right now, people are not people will not buy as easily as they did in the past, for sure. But transactions still happen in the market. More and more people have a need to rent or to sell their house, and we just need to really go further and push for the number of transactions.
Okay. Can you share with us, like, with the pandemic and even without the pandemic, what would be your main challenge just to reach that revenue growth?
Our main challenge, as I told you, is that buyers revise their investment plan.
Okay.
Of course, they will prioritize more essential spending. And so they will. It will take more time for them to make the decision to buy, a property or to rent a property. So that's the main difficulty.
Got it. So we're going to our last slide where we're taking a look at the market size in Vietnam. Like on the news, we were reading like there's over like 200,000 transactions yearly in Vietnam. Uh,
Yeah,
how do you see this? How do you see this growing for the
yeah.
next 10 years?
Uh, yeah. So basically, for the primary business, it's quite the number of transactions can be easily tracked. Um, so every year there has been around between 50 to 70,000, transactions in the primary market. But for the secondary market, it's not very clear. No one has a clear number. So it so the 200,000 was actually estimated by Rever in 2016. So I think that it can be 250, it can be 300, but it's around that number. That's what I think, and and I think that anyone who can get 10% of the market share of Vietnam is already a very big company.
Okay.
So that's our first milestone that we want to achieve.
Okay. If I understand well, because you're working with the primary market, you mean like all those like construction or developers, like are you mentioning, you talking about like Nova Land, or you're talking about like those guys from Vin Homes, or which one are you talking
Yeah,
about?
so Vin Homes or Novaland are two of biggest developers in Vietnam.
Mhm.
We do work with players like them. We also work with older developers from Vietnam or international developers uh, having projects in Vietnam. We work with all of them.
Okay.
So,
So
for example, we work with uh, we have been distributing projects for Singaporean developers, for Vietnamese developers, for Japanese developers. We have worked with all kind of developers.
okay. And I'm just gonna start to go to the conclusion, but just one question about the ecosystem. Like real estate is quite big, and usually you see like other big players like supporting the real estate market, which are banks, and banks playing like a key role for mortgages. And I just was wondering like how Rever is actually partnering with the banks just to enable more transactions, or are you guys doing something about that?
Yeah, so we have been talking to banks about this. We think that of course, I think that the financial system is, I think that some positive structural changes in the financial system can unlock even further the real estate market in Vietnam.
Mhm.
But currently, of course, those are things we cannot, I mean, Rever cannot solve on our own. So we
Mhm.
have been trying to talk to banks because we think that at some scale, we can shake hands with the banks in order to propose to our customers interesting products and packages, and especially with the technology, we can have a scale quickly. I mean, we can go to 2 to 4,000 or to 6,000 buyers a year, and I think that it will interest the banks. So yes, we have been in touch with them in order to propose to our clients something meaningful. But at the same time, we want to do it properly, in the sense that we also want to be able to guarantee to our clients that we just don't sell them to the banks. We want to help them to find the most suitable products for them. We don't just sell them to the banks and take a commission. So we have been spending time in order to make sure that we really understand the game and propose, really meaningful things for our customers.
Got it. All right. So I'm just gonna ask a last question. Like, as a founder, like with your journey, as it's a founder stock, like um, over the past few years, like what was the most difficult thing for you just to achieve?
To be very honest, there were a lot of difficulties. Uh,
Sure.
so we are three co-founders coming from different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the CEO is very strong in tech product and tech business. The CTO, also another co-founder, is very strong in building technologies. Uh, it's ironic or to say, no, but I don't mean it's ironic, but if I say that Trevor is very strong in technology, then of course people would say that I say that because I'm part of Trevor. But to be very honest, I have seen the tech stack, and I am very confident that we are building extremely nice thing. We have a customer data profile that track all of the interactions of the customers with the Rival platform, so we can understand our clients in order to give them more suitable suggestions, for example, so that they can match with a good property much faster. We do those kind of things, right? But along the way, of course, from time to time, we have our differences in opinions. Uh, but luckily, what we have been able to do is we have always been able to listen to each other in order to understand the point of view of the older co-founder, in order to create a strong, management team. What we wholeheartedly believe in is that the co-founders and the management team, we we have one common objective. So whatever we do, whatever we think, we always know that the team also wants to achieve the same thing that I want to achieve, and it helps us to navigate through differences and difficult times. Another difficulty that we met was at some point we weren't able to raise money at the time that we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But that also gave us the opportunity to be more resilient, to become more efficient at managing our costs, and we navigated through that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that those difficulties are difficulties that all companies would meet at some point in their journey. But I think that those who can survive it will surely learn very good experiences and become much stronger.
Well, definitely agree with you on the all those issues that are pretty common actually. But then it's a good reminder that we kind of face sometimes the same issues across all the different startups as a founders.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that was my last question. I mean, so I just wanted to make sure like it's a little bit shorter today, so the weather condition wouldn't harm or actually affect the talk. But I'd like to thank you very much for like spending your Saturday with me, and I hope that you had a good time to share with me all the information about Revit.
Yes, I also want to thank you because I think that this format is very interesting. My email is minh at rever.vn, and I wholeheartedly welcome everyone to write emails to me to give me more advice, or even if you just want to ask any question. It would be, I think, very helpful for everyone and for myself. So again, I want to thank you for this opportunity.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes.